Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Chef Mikey. Welcome to Chef's Harvest Farm. About 1 year ago, I quit my job to start a farm in my suburban backyard. And now I produce over $2,000 every single week in vegetable sales off a quarter of an acre in my suburban backyard. I worked in the restaurant industry for 20 years. And I worked my way up from being a dishwasher when I was a kid to becoming an executive chef of these huge resorts, big companies. And, through that, I just kind of realized these big companies didn't care about the quality of the food. They just want you to use the cheapest ingredients possible, right? Like it got to the point where they were telling me to drop bags of mac and cheese into boiling water, and that's how you make mac and cheese, for instance, frozen vegetables, things like that. And I just really started to question, like, how did my life get to this? I grew up working in like fine dining, farm to table types of restaurants, and then I somehow became like this big resort amusement park chef. It was an indoor water park resort that I was working at for my last chef's job. And then I quit that job. It's the worst job I've ever had in my life. It was horrible. It was miserable. And then I got a job working in restaurant equipment sales for a few years while I built my farm on the weekends, which eventually I quit my job, and this is all I do, and this is all I've done for the last 14 to 16 months. I really wanted to start a YouTube channel to document the whole thing from the beginning, but just working a job and doing this on all my free time, that just never really happened. But I did document everything through like photos and videos, almost everything I've done over the last 5 years or so. So I'm gonna hope to put that into documentation types of material for YouTube and post it for you all, so you can see what my experience is like, and hopefully use that to create your own experiences, whether it's growing food for yourself and your family or growing food for profit. I'd love to share my experience so that you can work those into your garden and your experiences. So I just wanted to hop in and get my YouTube channel started. Today's the day. So I'll just give you a quick tour. We'll walk around, and then we'll start working on the tasks for the day. I got a busy day ahead of me. I got no help coming. Sometimes I have a little bit of help. And I got restaurant orders, farmers markets. It's a busy week and a busy day. So I'll show you around and we'll get started. So this is my nursery space. These are some fall mums that I got going, and then I start all my seedlings for transplant down here. And then in the tunnel, I've got a second succession of cucumbers going right here, and then just planted some carrots yesterday under the black shade cloth. And we can make a whole video of how to grow carrots and what I'm doing there. The whole garden's about a quarter of an acre in my backyard. That's my hemp plot. And then and we can talk about that more, but definitely don't want this channel to be about just that. This is some arugula just planted yesterday, some beets, have the shade cloth over it for germination, green onions, another succession of arugula. I'm using the insect netting to keep flea beetles off, some green beans, kale that's just on its way out. I'll probably get another harvest or two, some jumbo green onions down there, transplanted lettuce under the shade cloth. These are some watermelon radishes and daikon radishes, succession of green onions that I just harvested lettuce off the sides of it, and then some beets on the sides down there. This is some watermelon radishes, more lettuce, beets, lettuce, that'll be ready to harvest. I guess I'm gonna harvest that tomorrow. That's my next succession. And then lettuce. This arugula is about to get harvested today. Some green beans with radishes down the sides. I've got ginger on the sides of tomatoes and cucumbers in this tunnel. Some more ginger over here. Beets on this side of the tomatoes. These are all cherry tomatoes. And then some more beets interplanted with radishes here. Behind me I have some Yukon Gold potatoes, which I'm not really sure. They kind of seem like they're struggling a little bit, but we'll see. They still have like a couple weeks of growth left on them. And then I've just got a couple raised beds here, which were strategically placed there because they're right next to this big giant tree. So tree roots are all right there. So that's the dime tour of the garden. And today I got to get this arugula harvested, so we'll get going on that. All right, so this bed of arugula, I need to get harvested like as soon as possible. It's the middle of the summer and it's gonna be hot today. So whenever you're harvesting any type of leafy green, you know, you want to make sure that you're harvesting it when it's not scorching hot out. So I need to get this done as soon as possible, but as I take a look, it's just like, it's really wet from like the morning dew. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just gonna let it kind of dry out a little bit. It's in the shade anyways, so like the sun doesn't really hit it early in the morning. So while I wait for that to kind of dry out, I'm gonna harvest these radishes over here. So this bed right here, with the trellis system, is eggplants down the middle. That's why I have the trellis set up. And then I planted some radishes here right below them, so that while I'm waiting for the eggplants to produce fruit, then I get a crop of radishes real quick from underneath them, so the bed's constantly producing money. So to harvest them, I put rubber bands around my fingers like this, and I count the rubber bands. So I have 40 rubber bands right here. I just know that like one row of radishes is about 40 bunches, and I put 7 radishes per bunch. And then I sell them for $4 at the farmer's market or $3 to restaurants. So I'll show you what a bunch looks like. So it just depends on the size of the radish, how many I put in the bunch. Usually it's 7, but these are a little bit bigger than normal, which is great. I mean, if they get too big, they get pithy on the inside, but people love them. And they really, the bigger ones actually sell better anyways. And then I just wrap the rubber bands around like that. And that's what they look like. So it's either $3 or $4 for that. And then I'll show you how I harvest them all. And then as I shimmy down the bed, I bring a bucket with me, so that way anything that's like not a radish, so like a dead leaf that I might peel off the greens, or any type of weed, I put it in the bucket. That way the bed is clean. I don't have to come back and pull weeds out or rake anything out or nothing. It's just nice, neat, and clean when I'm done. And then this is when I weed. Like I don't weed my garden. I'm never like, oh, today I have to weed the garden. I weed as I'm working. If I'm working in a certain area and I see a weed, I pull it out, and that's it. And then yeah, so I'll show you how I shimmy down the bed and harvest all my radishes real quick. Okay, so I got all the radishes harvested while I'm waiting for the arugula to dry out. And you can just kind of see how I come down with my bucket, and then the bucket or the bed's just absolutely clean after. So I'm gonna come through, pick up the radishes real quick, and I'm in a rush because it's starting to get hot out and I need to get that arugula harvested. So yeah, let's get it done. Okay, so I got my radishes all loaded into my cart here, and I'm just gonna bring them right into my wash pack station. I want to get them out of the heat as soon as possible to keep those the tops looking nice. So I'll put these in there where the temperature is like, 68, 70, and out of the sunlight. And then I'll come out, harvest the arugula, and then I'll go back and wash my radishes in a minute. Radishes harvested while I was waiting for the arugula to kind of dry out from the morning dew. So now I'm in a rush. I got to get this stuff harvested because it's getting hot out. So you always want to harvest anything that's like lettuce, a leafy green, or anything that you just want the greens to look nice on. You've got to do that first thing in the morning before the heat of the day kicks in. Because if you don't, as soon as you cut your greens, they're just going to turn to crap. So I need to get this stuff harvested fast and get it into the cooler so it just stays as fresh as possible for my customers. So to do that, I use this tool. It's called the Quick Cut Greens Harvester. I buy it from Farmer's Friend if you're not familiar with it. And it hooks up to any regular power drill and then spins these little guys. There's an oscillating blade. I don't know if you can see it. And then the blade goes back and forth and cuts the greens at the bottom. And then it puts it right into this bag, and then I can dump it into my totes. And then we take it into the cooler and we get it washed, packed for sale, and everything like that. So here you can see how it works. It harvested down pretty good. My drip lines are still in there. I didn't cut it, but it's definitely a concern. I've cut it before, so sometimes it's a good idea to pull those drip lines out of there first. So here's about what I got. Well, this is what I got. Each one of those totes is probably about 10 pounds, so about 30 pounds of arugula right there. And I've got one restaurant that wants 10 pounds, another restaurant that wants 2 pounds, and I'll probably hear back from another restaurant or two, and I'll have all this sold probably before the farmers market this week. And then we're just gonna go get this right into the cooler, let it cool down, and then we'll wash it tomorrow. I get it into the refrigerated trailer as soon as possible, so this stuff sat out for like less than 5 or 10 minutes with the quick cut screen harvester. Harvest it fast in the totes and right into the cooler, which is just steps away from the field. And then I'll let this cool down for 24 hours, which isn't always necessary. Sometimes I'll wash it immediately, but I'm going to take advantage of it not being a million degrees out right now and get some other work done this morning, and then we'll wash these tomorrow. And this is my CoolBot trailer, so it's basically a walk-in cooler on wheels, and I do bring it to the farmers market with me. All right, so now that I've got all my arugula harvested, now what, right? I want to get this bed replanted as soon as possible so I can make more money. So what are the options? I mean, you can go through and pull every single plant out, which is thousands, by hand. You could hoe it out and rake it out. Either way you look at it, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of physical labor to do that. I got a lot of other things going on today. I'm just gonna keep harvesting some green onions and tomatoes, cucumbers, all this stuff that I need to deliver to restaurants. So while I'm doing all that, immediately after harvesting the arugula, I just cover it with a tarp, basically. This is landscape fabric. It fits over the bed perfectly. So I'll wet it, which is key. If it's wet, it works faster. And then I lay this over it, and I mean, it's August 1st today. So this time of year, within 5 days maximum, the whole bed, it'll all be disintegrated under the tarp, and I just roll the tarp off. Sometimes I rake the bed out after that. Sometimes I don't even. I'll just plant my next crop, pull the tarp out and plant it, and that's it, and be done with it. So I let time do the work. So I'm not spending much time, labor, pulling this out of the ground and getting it ready for the next crop. I let time do the work, and then I come back in 1 week or less and I just plant a new crop. So very little work involved. So I'll show you how we do that. All right, y'all, so that's how I harvest arugula, and a quick introduction to my farm and my YouTube channel. If y'all are interested in learning how to grow food, anything about food, cooking food, how to store food, anything vegetable related, basically, click that like and subscribe button, share it with your friends, and I'll hope to be releasing a video every week moving forward, and I hope you'll come along for the journey. Thanks, y'all.